Bitcoin has seen a very nice move to the upside today, and I just want to kind of go over in the charts what's been happening here. And actually, for those of you who have been tuning into my channel, my previous video, I actually outlined this old resistance box here, saying that there is the possibility that it does flip into support. That would just be a beautiful thing as far as technicals go, seeing resistance flip into support at an important level on a 4 hour like this, especially. You guys know I don't usually look at longer time frames, so this is absolutely beautiful to see that beautiful flip there. To be honest, I was also quite vocal that I did think we would end up getting, or at least it'd be very possible that we drop back down and actually retest the bottom of this range that we had formed back here. But I did say that just be warned that, you know, there is the possibility that we don't make it to the bottom and we just use the top of that range as support. And that's exactly what Bitcoin's done. Be a little bit cautious here. I'm under the impression that the bulls have a lot of strength right now, so I'm not sure if we're going to get rejected. I love to see that we're attacking this old resistance here, just with a little bit of momentum on our side right here. But something to consider is on the 4 hour. I mean, we're starting to see trend over exhaustion on some of the indicators here, starting to get overbought. But honestly, when these trends happen, the indicators can stay overbought or oversold if it's going the opposite direction. As you guys know, indicators can stay in extreme conditions for a long time. So just be cautious of that just because indicators are saying something is overcooked, overextended, anything like that. In my opinion, price structure trumps indicators. If we start closing candle bodies above this level, then I really don't care what the indicators are doing at that point, because at that point, I'm treating it like structure has changed, where we now would have created a higher high. I don't like to count it as a higher high unless we actually close above. Because as it stands right now, this could end up being a swing fail where we get rejected at resistance and then come back down. But if we were to actually close a 4 hour candle above this level, I would be extremely bullish. And then once again, I would start to look for the bottom of the range as support. So I would be looking at this level as our higher low on the trend, because we had this level set a higher high. And now that if we end up setting a higher high from this level, that's when this would end up being the level of support that I'd be very interested in. But we're going to have to see what happens. You guys know I've been quite vocal about being pretty bullish on this trend. The fact that we broke above this important level here, even though it was temporary, we broke above this level here. This is a daily chart here, so we actually spent some time above that level. It's not all too unrealistic to expect this little bit of a pullback just to refuel the bulls and then take another run. Just the fact is that, yeah, you know, we dropped this little range that we had, but the way I look at structure, I mean, we still have a higher low at this point. I wasn't counting this a higher low because we hadn't actually broken above these levels here. So yeah, as it stands right now, this bottom purple line, you guys know that's the level that I've been watching for the higher low. So the fact that we found support much before that, actually on top of this old resistance, that just looks beautiful to me. On top of that, look at the indicators. The oscillator 4 here, we got near the bottom of the band with a hidden bullish divergence mapped out there. Beautiful that it brings your eye to that. Very obvious signal there. And as well, I guess this one is just forming today. We do have this little green dot here. It's not one of the big ones, but there was potential there. Just another bit of a warning sign that there was some green showing up. One thing to consider is the money flow is still getting less. So I don't know how much buying volume there actually is on this little pump that we've had here today. But it is still green. And even if I hop over, let's check out the weekly chart here. Oh, I mean, that's just looking beautiful. The fact that we never dumped down below. I mean, look at this weekly candle. This is a big engulfing weekly candle. If Sunday night comes around and we actually eclipse this range here after, you know, a couple weeks trading down and then just get a massive engulfing weekly candle, I mean, I think at that point we can accept that this is going to be well, in my opinion, there's a good chance it would be a bull flag at that point, and a very large one at that. So a lot of people are going to think that the price action looks very manipulated, it's overextended, it can't pull, or it has to pull back and all that sort of stuff. But when rallies really get going, they can stay in those conditions for quite a while. So I don't want to bet against the trend at this point, no matter what the indicators are saying, basically. The trend is your friend until the end, so that's the way I'm looking at it. Now, one other thing I want to mention, and another reason I honestly haven't been looking at Bitcoin all too much. You guys know I've been talking about altcoins a lot because Bitcoin had its big pump and then actually consolidated sideways in a quite a healthy manner, in my opinion. When that happens, that's when altcoins kind of start to get very volatile, and quite often they would be to the upside as long as Bitcoin's not seeing a harsh rejection or anything. And that's one thing I want to talk about right now is a lot of people are going to be so desperate to short against this. If we keep climbing, people, I'm not saying to FOMO into the long side, but shorting against that kind of momentum can be a dangerous thing. But people get desperate thinking that things have to be overextended and they just want to add to their position or whatever. But in my opinion, rather than trying to hope that things reverse and trying to catch that on a short, just wait for Bitcoin to calm itself. If it gets a nice pump and it just holds on to those gains and starts trading sideways again, start watching the altcoin market, because things, quite often you're going to see fireworks in the altcoin market as Bitcoin trades sideways after a pump. You guys will know that I was watching BDP, Big Data Protocol here. A lot of influencers are watching it. I think I was one of the earlier ones, but it doesn't matter at this point. This thing has been so volatile, and I was watching it because the indicators have been giving great buy signals on these. There is one thing to consider. I was talking about, I did start reaccumulating my position when we got this touch here on my trend line. I was very vocal about that in my last video. I'm still holding on to that. I'm not panic selling, even though we had this little tumble here. I mean, this pump we got was like a 95% bounce. Like, this thing is so volatile. But since it's a small cap coin, I'm just playing with small amounts of money because I see them as a gamble. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm holding my position from at this point. And there's one thing, I will be honest, there's one thing I don't like about this chart, and that's the fact that we did have this upward sloping trend line, which I was talking about in my previous video, and the fact that we are now flirting with it. The indicators EMA here, the 21 EMA on the 4-hour is lining up very accurately with the retest of this trend line. So once again, that could just be rather than resistance flipping into support, we might have support flipping into resistance. So that is something to consider. What I do like about this chart, and what I really like about this chart, is we are getting close to double bottom territory. This could just be a slightly higher low from this level here, unconfirmed from the way I look at things, but either way, that's very possible. And the fact that at this double bottom territory kind of level, the candles flipped to a bright green from the Algo 3 indicator, and as well we got this reversal warning down here, that orange dot with the W. Up on the oscillator 4, we have a bullish pivot point right at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, as well as a trend exhaustion here. And that's coming while these bands are starting to, I guess, tighten. And that often what happens after the bands have tightened too much is you get these big expansions of the band, and that's where things get really volatile. So the fact that they're tightening up, we're getting these bullish pivots there, is beautiful, that it lines up with the Algo 3 indicator. On top of that, the oscillator 5 has a nice big green dot. So this is on the 4-hour. Also, we're above our trend confluence here from the automatic settings. I can't remember what time frame that's from. But there's just a lot of things lining up that are saying this thing could be finding support. And this thing has had a lot of hype online. And it's still a fairly low market cap. I can't remember what it is, maybe like 10 or 15 million, whatever. So yeah, it might be looking for a good run, because I really like when these three indicators all line up together. These are the MDX Algo indicators. If they interest you, there is a referral link in my description and my comments down below. You get a 15% discount if you sign up using a referral link. yeah, that's looking pretty good in my opinion. Like I said, there is some resistance here we got to be mindful of, but I really like these bullish signs we're seeing on the indicators. Palmswap's another one that's caught my eye recently. This thing launched at, what was it? I think 1.8 cents. It was somewhere right around this area here. And you can see that we actually ended up trading very slightly below those levels recently. But really the momentum of this sell-off has, well, basically we just formed a beautiful rounding bottom, if you ask me. And something that coincides with that is everybody who was a pre-sale investor, they're done on unlocking their tokens at this point. So that does relieve a lot of selling pressure, because some people were getting there as they unlock them, they were selling. So that was contributing to a lot of this sell-off here. But yeah, that's over and done with. So I mean, yeah, obviously anything can happen. It can still be sold off a cliff here, but I'm liking what the indicators are showing here on the Algo 3. Once again, this is the 4-hour, a nice strong buy signal there. The trend confluence has flipped bullish. Down, I mean, this was a ways back where we had this bullish pivot on the oscillator 4, warning reversal on the Algo 3, and big green dot. Once again, we had all those things lining up on the 4-hour with this, and I mean, what did Palm see? I mean, it did see over 100% pump. So that's, like I say, guys, I just love when these three indicators line up like that. And yeah, I like that these are curling to the upside. You can also see the market flow, this faint gray line here. They're all curling to the upside and ready to hopefully support the price on something like this as well. Just looking at the daily, we haven't got a long signal on the daily yet, but I'm sure any day now we will. It's nice that even though we got these warning reversals, Palm just eclipsed it anyways. It didn't really care about this, so that might be showing a large sign of strength. Once again, anything can happen, and I think a lot of this relies on what Bitcoin does. But as it stands right now, Bitcoin is looking just absolutely beautiful to me. So sorry, I know I haven't been very productive on making videos this week. I have had my furnace totally shit out on me in my house. Anyone familiar with Canadian weather, you know that your life literally freezes. It stops. When your house has no heat, there's a chance that your lines can freeze up and burst and flood your house and have a whole mess and basically destroy your house. So that's something that I've had to take care of. I'm getting a new one installed tomorrow, so I'm just got a cold house until then. So if you appreciate that I came and did this update anyways with you guys, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like I said, I was kind of too busy to make videos, but I was talking about this move on my Twitter. StuTube Trading, all one word, same thing. So be sure to follow me there. Sometimes I give analysis when I'm busy and life is chaotic, like this week. I was able to throw a quick warning up that, hey, you know, this level, that's the yellow box I was talking about there. I was just kind of warning that this may end up being support. Watch for a flip of this support into resistance, obviously, and test that lower level. But there is definitely the possibility that we just kind of moonshot from there. And then this was the little update I had this morning, and now we've obviously pumped significantly more since that. So yeah, be sure to follow me there as well. Anyways, guys, I'm actually about to hop on a voice chat with some of the other fellas in the MDX private Discord. So once again, if that's something that interests you and you like these indicators and you want to be a part of these live hangout sessions, the streams I do and all that sort of stuff, once again, I have that link down below for a 15% discount. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to gain a little momentum here. We're going to have to see what happens. So I better get this video out to you guys. Those are a few levels I'm watching, a few altcoins I'm watching, that kind of thing. So with that, I'm out. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.